Yeah, the title's not clickbait. I can assure you of that. And I've been waiting for a little while to do this video because I wanted to make sure that this was actually real and that this was, in fact, what I thought it was. Because there's been a lot of discrepancy around it, at least for a while. Now, originally, a few nights ago, I was just kind of, going back through some of the older videos through the internet. It's getting close to the end of the year, and about once a year around this time of the year, I like to do that. I like to go back through a lot of the much older videos on YouTube and just kind of relive the old days, the good old days. In particular, in this case, what a lot of people refer to as the golden age of YouTube, specifically Filthy Frank. And that's who a lot of people point to as being the progenitor and the king of the golden age of YouTube. And they're not entirely wrong. And he dipped out of YouTube about 6 years ago to do Joji. And a lot of people since then, have really been wanting him back. And, me personally, I think that, and a lot of people honestly also feel that he dipped out to start doing Joji at about the right time. And that were he to come back now and continue doing Filthy Frank, it probably wouldn't be received as well as it was back then. More specifically, as well as it was received at least once he was gone, because it's one of those things where a lot of people didn't realize how good it was until he was already gone. Because a lot of people don't realize this, but while he was doing Filthy Frank, he got a lot of shit and a lot of hate for it, even from the people who were following him and subscribed to his channel. A lot of people hate watched him and subscribed to his channel just to keep up with all of the heinous, weird shit that he would do and just to specifically hate on him. But now that he's gone, a lot of people look back on those times with an extreme level of fondness and wish that he hadn't quit. But like I said, it's kind of one of those things where it's a similar situation of you don't know how good something is until it's already gone and until it's too late. Now, that being said, there's a new channel that's popped up. And by new, I mean it appeared around, early last year, around early 2022. But its first video didn't appear until May of this year, until May of 2023. And there's been a lot of people who originally were thinking that it was Joji, that it was Frank that was doing this. But by that same extension, there were just as many people who thought it was just Corp, and nothing more than that. And that's precisely why I've kind of held off on doing this video. Primarily because, as I was saying a few nights ago, I didn't even know about this. Because I was going through and just, rewatching a lot of Frank's old videos, just kind of reliving the good old days. And Jacob was sitting next to me going through like Filthy Frank's subreddit, and he immediately looks at me with this wide-eyed look on his face, and he was like, dude, he's like, I think Filthy Frank's back. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, he's got a new channel. And so we immediately started going through this whole huge rabbit hole and come to find out that, yeah, it's sure enough, it's him. But it took me a while to confirm it 100%. And it's under the name of Plum Corp Records. This is the channel that you'll see when you search up Plum Corp Records. This is what you should see, I should say. And there's only 28 videos. And they've already amassed a pretty respectable number of subscribers across those 28 videos. Like I said, they joined in 2022, around June 15th, but the first video didn't appear until 7 months ago, which was around May. There's with the exception of Frank or Joji actually being in the video, this does have a bit of the Filthy Frank feel to it. And that did not go unnoticed amongst viewers either. Yeah, even here, the camera movement. And yeah, I honestly have no disagreements there. I mean, if you've ever seen Why We Get Noise Complaints, yeah, it's pretty similar. It's pretty similar, to say the least. And now it's not to say that someone couldn't just take that style of filming and juxtapose it to their own channel and basically copy Frank's style of comedy or style of filming. They absolutely could. But I just don't think that's the case. I really feel like this is Joji's new channel, just minus him being in it. And I say minus him being in it because out of all 28 videos on the channel, he doesn't appear in any of them. This really is basically more of Joji's brainchild, his thoughts coming to life, where instead of him being in it and speaking and acting in it as Filthy Frank, he's getting other people to come in and be that vessel for him, which is in a sense just as good, because now he doesn't have to bear the brunt of any kind of potential backlash or hate, even though now I feel like he wouldn't really have to worry about that after so much time has passed and he's amassed such a massive cult following. But still, it's a brilliant move nonetheless. Not to mention, like, God left me unfinished. Yeah, I mean,
God left me unfinished!
So yeah, like, it you can tell that the fan base of Plum Corp and Filthy Frank's fan base are basically one and the same. They very much have carried over, not one-to-one, obviously, because Filthy Frank amassed well north of 7 million subscribers across his whole career, across many, many years. But slowly, actually I should say very quickly, they're starting to come over from his old channel into this new one and realize that this is in fact his new stuff, just minus him actually being on camera. And frankly, I'm all for that. Yeah, and you can even see, like, Joji's brand never ceases to surprise me. Frank is almost leaving Joji's body right now. Camera movement seems familiar. Thanks for showing the creative process behind Smithereens, which is a piece of music that Joji has supposedly been working on. Yeah, and I mean, Joji, you're back at it again. This is, and it, so you can really tell that, like, people are pretty much convinced that this is his stuff. I'm not the first person by any means to be covering this, to be trying to bring this to light, to shine a spotlight on the fact that Filthy Frank is basically back on YouTube, just minus him actually being on camera, but that he's basically back. And in other people's videos of them covering this, of them covering Plum Corp Records channel, there's been a lot more doubt than obviously there is on Plum Corp Records channel. where a vast majority of people don't think that it's him, don't think that it's his channel or his work or his ideas or anything remotely related to George or Joji or Filthy Frank or anything remotely related to him whatsoever. And that's simply seems to be because and boiling down to the fact that, like, everywhere you look on the channel itself and within the, say for instance, the merch, like it even says clothing brand. Like they've got this here, Bushmeat Bucks Bar and Bistro, and they've got merch here. At no point does it actually have Joji's name or Filthy Frank's name attached to it anywhere. Even down here, it's all just Plum Corp audiovisual. And that's it. It has nothing to give off the idea that Joji is in any way, shape, or form affiliated with it. And yet, I can now say without a shadow of a doubt that this is his. Joji owns this channel 100%. And to solidify this, for anyone who may still be doubting, have a look at this. What Plum Corp Audiovisual / Records is as of 2023. Joji owns Plum Corp. Plum Corp is his record label, subsidiary label, audiovisual label, concert visuals label, clothing brand, publishing studio, and his content creation studio. Joji's private-owned business is called the Gondola Brothers LLC, which is owned by him and his business partner / agent, Jamie Masuda. Joji uses that LLC to file trademarks for everything created by him and related to him. For example, he has trademarked Filthy Frank, Pink Guy, Salamander Man, Chin Chin, Joji, and most recently Plum Corp Audiovisual for various uses, as well as a resubmission for the Filthy Frank Show trademark, as well as clothing trademarks for Grabondes and Bushmeat Bucks Drop. Joji uses Plum Corp as his own recording studio, record label, audiovisual studio for concerts and tours, music video recording studio, content creation on YouTube, and for merchandise. It's basically a subsidiary owned by him, as many artists do, for this for freedom and to have a say in who plays and releases your work. He is still currently signed to 88 Rising, but it is believed that he will continue doing shit on Plum Corp once he's out or until a major label buys Plum Corp. I can't talk today unless you haven't figured it out. Plum Corp Records, as it is currently known, is Joji's puppy. His little project going on right now where he's being himself doing unhinged random shit, as proof on YouTube and on the latest Plum Corp clothing drop, and has been the label he has been promoting at every concert during goofs and gags, intermission, etc. Most notably in his Yebby Labs performance. He is toying with it and has been doing really well as of late, so expect to see more from Plum Corp, especially on the YouTube side, where there's a heavy rumor about a Smithereens tour vlog dropping. Nothing confirmed, though. Please read what I said. It's a rumor. But other than that, it's just going to be a random unhinged Joji shit. No word yet on if he's going to drop music on Plum Corp yet. He has garnered a lot of support creatively from Savage Realm, who has been helping out with Plum Corp. It is rumored that he might actually be signed to it. Just rumors, though, nothing confirmed. The proof is online on trademarkia.com. This right here is very important, by the way. We will address this in just a moment. When you look up the Gondola Brothers LLC and read their trademark filings, and apparently someone got into the source code of the website and found 88 Rising in it. Not sure how that works or if that's even true, but whatever. The proof is there. Joji's continuing his experimenting with Plum Corp, and you should all be very excited for what's to come. On a side note, don't get too excited about him resubmitting Filthy Frank Show to his trademarks. He's not coming back to that. And even still, with all of that, a lot of people were still like, well, we can't find anything anywhere, so it's really just hearsay. And I'm just like, did none of you read that last little bit? Like, did none of you even go through the like 2 minutes of effort to go to trademarkia.com and just type in the word Gondola Brothers LLC? Because I did. If you go to trademarkia.com and actually type in the Gondola Brothers LLC like they mentioned on that r/ page, this is what you find. Lo and behold, 15 trademarks under the Gondola Brothers LLC. Grabandez, Bushmeat Bucks, like we saw right here. Plum Corp Audiovisual, Plum Corp Audiovisual, Plum Corp Audiovisual, Filthy Frank Show, Filthy Frank Show, Filthy Frank, Pink Guy, Joji, Chin Chin, Joji, Filthy Frank, and Salamander Man. And these are all trademarks that are all live and registered, with a few still pending. So yeah, it is absolutely owned by Joji, George, Frank. Plum Corp Records, the channel, is 100% owned and run by Joji. And this is, for lack of a better word, his brainchild. He's just not putting himself out there on camera. And frankly, I don't blame him, because it seems like he's really just kind of tired of doing that side of things. But you can tell that the creative part and the humor part are still very much there within him, which is awesome. And it's really good to see, because it's one of those things where he's obviously a very creative and very funny person. And from everything that I've ever heard about him, a very fun person to be around. And I believe it. And the other thing, side note, the other thing that kind of, for me at least, solidified it beyond all of this, beyond the patents and trademarks, was the fact that at least within the fandom, it's a pretty well-known fact that Joji himself is a huge fan of drifting. If you've ever seen the music video of Joji's Glimpse of Us, there's a part in it where there's a 350Z and another car drifting around a guy. And on Plum Corp Records channel, there is actually a video called Bro Think He Vin Diesel, where, you guessed it, there's drifting showcased. Out of everything else that's featured on a channel that's even remotely related to Filthy Frank or Joji, which is a lot of really out there stuff, the one kind of smoking gun to me would be this, because it's just like a weird little random factoid to know about Joji, and that for this to be the only drifting video featured on the entire channel, to me kind of solidifies the fact. And even in the preview, you can see a purple 350Z being showcased. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of cool. And there's honestly a lot of really funny stuff on this channel, because, I mean, this is, after all, coming from the brain of Joji, of Filthy Frank. So you pretty much know what to expect if you've ever watched any of his material. You have a rough idea of what to expect, except he's just got other people doing it for him, which is awesome. I think that he would find people to do this kind of stuff for him. I think that's fantastic, and it just shows how awesome a lot of these people really are, to be that laid back about a lot of this stuff and be just that open to being filmed doing a lot of this stuff, for whatever reason. I think that's just really awesome. So, to just kind of summarize things, is Filthy Frank back? Yeah, basically, yeah, he is. Just not as Filthy Frank, not even really as Joji, but he is back. Just don't expect to actually see his face anytime soon. And so for any massive Filthy Frank fan or Joji fan out there, go take a look at Plum Corp Records. Go subscribe to them because they deserve it. And subscribe here too while you're at it because that would be super awesome of you. Yeah, take care. Peace.